Abbey Road Studios is arguably the most famous recording studio in the world. Its place in music history is irrefutable, and to this day, Abbey Road is still one of the world's most sought-after recording studios. The Abbey Road Keyboards refill is the result of a unique collaboration between Propellerhead Software and Abbey Road Studios. We set out to capture the sound and soul of this renowned temple of sound and make it available for Reason users all over the world. The refill features 7 unique instruments, all part of the Abbey Road heritage. They are the Mellotron M400, the Hammond RT3 organ, a Steinway upright known as the Mrs. Mills piano, the Challenge Studio piano, the Manborg harmonium, the Schiedermeier Celeste, and the Premier tubular bells. We asked vintage keyboard guru Mark Vail, author of the books Vintage Synths and the Hammond Organ, to come with us to Studio 2 and have a look at some of the instruments featured in the refill. He is joined by Propellerhead Software's content manager, Christopher Wallman, who led the sampling process.
We're in Studio 2 at the Abbey Road Studios, and we're standing next to a Mellotron Mark 400. This is one of the earliest forms of sample playback. Inside this machine are quarter-inch audio tapes, magnetic recording tape that has samples of things like cellos and choirs and strings.
One thing that's interesting is that the tape is 7 seconds long, plus the fade out, so it's like 8 to 9 seconds each note, and then it stops. So if you hold the key for 9 seconds, then the sound is dead, and then you have to re-trigger the key. And in Reason now, we didn't actually loop the sound, so you would have that intact. That you have, if you're holding a chord for the whole chorus, for example, you would have to re-trigger the notes after the second bar or something.
Let's take a look inside.
Sure.
So you can see some of the crazy contraption that they devised in the mid-60s for this very early sample player.
This is the sound selector, actually, which tape you're playing, ABC, 3 sounds. In this case, strings, flute, and cello, solo cello. This is a tone control, which is basically sounds like a filter to me. And this is a pitch control, which enables you to set the instruments to be in tune with your bandmates.
This is, I guess when it was manufactured by Steinway, they called it a vertigrand. And I guess, well, it's known as the Mrs. Mills piano. Someone named Mrs. Mills who recorded a lot with it. But I've heard you playing this, and it has a distinctive sound. What makes this piano sound different from other pianos?
It's the hammers they have been lacquered, so it's sort of a tack sound. It's special. The tune is a special way. So to get it to sound out of tune, even though it's not really, but it's the 3 strings resonate differently, so it gets separation in pitch.
This is the harmonium, and used. I've heard you playing it. It sounds rather like an accordion.
Yeah, it uses air. It's an acoustic instrument in that way. You don't need electricity, and each of these stops have a different sound and even a different pitch. So these are the stops, and they each have a number. This is the 8 there is the length of the pipe. It's 8 feet, so it gives a certain pitch. And then we have a 4 feet pipe. It gives a higher pitch, and then we have even as short as 2, which is really bright.
And they have names on them. Viola.
And then you can introduce. That's an 8.
These are to hit your knees with, bang your knees.
Yeah, you have 2 controls for the knees. And one is the volume, pretty much, and the intensity of the tone. And this is a convenient way to get a full ranks. It's with all the stops out.
This is a Hammond RT3. The Hammond RT3 includes the same components that were in the most popular Hammond organ, which was the B3. It has spinning tone wheels, 96 of them. And to hear it best, it's played through a Leslie speaker, which also has spinning components, high end and low end. There are two manuals on this type of Hammond organ. And these up here are called drawbars. There are two sets of 9 drawbars for the upper and the lower manuals. And then there are 2 drawbars here that would be for the bass pedals if they were on there. But there are 9 drawbars that control the frequencies that you hear in the sound. As a guy is playing this, they'll work the drawbars to change the sound. One thing that's unusual about this Hammond is it has these switches here, and 3 of these 4 switches control the Leslie speaker. They switch it between slow speed and high speed. Slow speed is what they called a chorale, and high speed is what they call the tremolo. And going between the chorale and the tremolo speed is used to change the emotion of the organ part. It's really very effective. You don't need to carry the Hammond and then the Leslie around. You can just carry Reason in your laptop.
Using Propellerhead Software's hypersampling method, we have sampled the instruments at multiple velocity levels using a multitude of carefully selected microphones. But there's more. The hypersampling process goes beyond just capturing the instruments. With all the microphone signals still available in Reason's mixer, you're free to select from a number of microphones and mic placements, just like in the real studio. Think of it as getting a virtual producer's chair at the control room in Studio 2, without having to go there. The result is a collection of truly unique keyboard instruments for your Reason rack. Whether you're striving to recreate a vintage keyboard feel in your tracks, or if you're looking for something truly new and different, Abbey Road keyboards will add sparkle to your music. You probably have these instruments in your record collection already. Now you can make them part of your instrument collection too. Abbey Road keyboards from Propellerhead Software and Abbey Road Studios.